So our next guest is Ralph Van Dijk from Eardrum in Australia. So Ralph is very well known in the audio industry around the world. He's considered one of the most influential people in audio advertising. And here at Radiocentre, we've been lucky to collaborate with Ralph several times on several projects over the years. And actually, it was during one such collaboration this summer that Ralph showed us another project that he was working on, and that got us thinking about this session. Since the pandemic began, you know, we've all become a little bit more insular, perhaps. We perhaps haven't been seeking the inspiration from around the world that we used to. You know, a general lack of award shows probably has something to do with it. We can't really travel in the same way. So we thought we'd get Ralph up in the middle of the night to bring us a little bit of that global inspiration from Sydney. So Ralph, welcome. Firstly, for people here in the audience who don't know you, and for those that are watching at home as well, can you tell us a little bit about your agency, you know, when it launched, and really why you chose to focus on radio advertising?
Thanks, Lucy, and greetings from the middle of the night here in Sydney. Yeah, I launched Eardrum in London back in 1990. I had been working as an agency writer for a few years before. I'd always enjoyed the audio briefs that had come in to the agency because I guess they combined so much of what I really loved, like playing with language, comedy, music and drama. I also really love the fact that the ideas weren't limited by the budget, unlike the TV briefs that we were given. Then the more I did, the better I got. And when I started to hear some of the large famous brands that were using radio and running really underwhelming campaigns, I thought, well, there's probably a gap in the market for a specialist audio agency to do it well. And now 30 years later, I still hear large brands running really underwhelming creative, but now at least they can come to us and work with senior creatives that have the specialist skills to get the most from their audio budgets.
So who are your main clients these days?
Yeah, so typically national brands that use radio and audio regularly. They will often retain a full service agency but use us as their audio agency. And we work together to make, with their other partners to make sure all the comms are aligned.
Ralph, one of the things that we get thrown at us sometimes is that, you know, writing for radio is harder than it should be. And what I mean by that is, what are the ingredients that are needed for really good audio advertising? And, you know, what does good audio sound like these days?
Well, yeah, I mean, the fact that radio briefs are usually given to the agency's junior creatives is complete madness to me. I mean, radio seems deceptively simple, and it's not. With no pictures, the creative device that you are hanging the campaign on has to absolutely be wedded to the product benefit. And it takes a few years being a creative to get the marketing experience that you need to distill a brief to its absolute essence and then use that as the foundation for a long-term campaign idea. And then on top of that, you've got all the skills needed to bring the scripts to life. And advertisers sometimes forget that every ad is a brand ad, whether they like it or not. So if your ads are sounding desperate, or the voices are sounding insincere or forced, that's how your brand will be perceived. Done well, radio has the potential to build a client's brand as much as their highly produced TV ads, and for obviously a fraction of the cost. And then there are the other skills that you need, like knowing how to develop audio brand assets, like audio logos and things like brand anthems. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So, Ralph, I'm going to hand over to you in a moment. You're going to take us through 4 very different and very recent case studies. And when you told us about the first one, the one you're going to talk about, the Samsung one, you know, we were blown away. It was so exciting. So take it away, Ralph. Let us know what caught your ear.
Well, yes, there are 4 case studies I'd like to present. Each has audio at its core, but each one has caught my ear for a different reason. The first one is one that we made for Samsung via CHE Proximity, their agency. They wanted us to find a way to motivate and inspire Australia's Olympic athletes as they were competing in empty stadiums. Our research led us to a study done by London's Brunel University into the role of music to enhance the performance of elite athletes. And that study formed the basis of the performance enhancing music case study you're about to see.
This music affects the athletes by 1%. 1% is huge.
How they feel in their mind can be the difference between winning and losing.
Nothing is going to be able to replace the crowds, but I think music can help fill the gap.
Samsung and Optus are providing that support directly into their ears.
Anything that we can improve performance that's in the spirit of the game and not harmful to any athlete, most athletes and sports scientists are going to utilise or recommend.
We all instinctively know what music does to us when we're listening to it. Rarely are we ever given a track that has been made specifically for us.
The opening section has isochronic tones. There's science behind it that says that it helps to create focus and concentration.
You know, having a song that is at a certain beats per minute, it translates well to how many strokes per minute you're going to be taking in a race.
If you personalize it with something more meaningful, here you will really maximize the speed at which it's going to reach this optimal state.
We added affirmations to see whether having their own words would give them that extra connection and boost.
We could see increases in the brainwaves that are associated with that flow mindset.
They all across the board perform better with the music.
They improved his 2K time trial by 5 seconds.
Yeah, I definitely felt it.
Every beat, every lyric, every key, every instrument, every vocalist has been chosen specifically for a person in order to help them perform a specific event. That's never been done.
Hey, Mac.
Howdy.
Can we tell you a little bit about the track that we've composed for you?
You know, your musical taste, particularly for your pumped up mind state, was really in that progressive rock/metal genre. You mentioned 38 being a good stroke rate, so we've worked the track at a multiple of 38.
Between the heat and the fire and the 400, I just kept saying, you can do this, I got this, over and over and over, until, you know, it was so cemented in there that I didn't believe anything else.
I can do this, I can do this, I got this, making
waves. So good. I will be blasting it in my ears.
Seeing their responses has just made this all worth it.
It's gonna be the only song I listen to while I skate now.
Like, that's a song that I would add to my playlist in a heartbeat.
I can't wait to use it at the Olympics.
I'll be on the start line alone, but I won't feel alone, that's for sure.
And then that was extended into the Special Olympics, and overall the 5 athletes we worked with came home with 2 medals and 3 personal bests, having generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in earned media, as well as exposure in above-the-line media using the cut-down case studies that were turned into TV ads, audio ads, and online ads. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is a case study from Italy, and it's for Barrett pasta. You can tell I'm fluent. Very simple idea that gives pasta lovers a foolproof way to cook their pasta to perfection. I think it's also a really good example of best practice when it comes to working with smart speakers. I think the best way to reach your audience on that platform is not only by giving them something entertaining, but it's offering them a utility, something that they can bring into their daily life.
Okay, Google.
Hey, Siri.
Bravo, Barilla.
Basically, now you don't need to set a timer for your pasta. You can just listen to the playlist, and when the playlist is done, then your pasta's done.
Right, so I chose the third case study because it taps into the current trend of purpose-driven marketing. But unlike some of the kind of forced or almost opportunistic examples I often judge at award shows, I think this was done in a really authentic way. It's for a US brand of ice cream called Good Humor.
Fun song, right? Y'all really are not gonna like this one.
Would you believe that the song actually has some racist origins?
I just shook my head. I was like, wow.
But that song is actually linked to racist minstrel shows.
Good Humor. They called me up and it was like, we gotta do something about this, Rez.
Good Humor.
Good Humor.
Good Humor Ice Cream, the company behind the classic treats you'd get from the ice cream truck.
Teamed up with RZA of Wu-Tang Clan to compose a new ice cream truck jingle. They are offering this song for free for ice cream trucks everywhere.
Take a listen.
A new jingle for a new era.
Imagine this tune lifting your spirits on a warm summer's night.
Oh, the ice cream truck is kind of bumping.
You already know Wu-Tang is for the kids, and Wu-Tang clearly loves ice cream.
And if that bass is bumping through your neighborhood,
Kids are gonna come running.
Here's RZA's new ice cream truck song played by my band, y'all.
I'm the ice cream man, rolling through the hood. RZA flipped the switch to a jingle that's good.
when I heard that new song, I was like, okay, let's go get some ice cream.
So the final example is another one of ours that is hot off the press. It's for a new internet service provider called Belong, and they offer carbon neutral internet. Because they're an innovative brand, we wanted to use radio in an innovative way. So we actually wrote a love song to the internet that played on air as 2-minute complete ad breaks. And after a couple of weeks, we introduced some cut down versions of the song and they took over. But it's a great reminder of radio's ability to launch a brand and define a brand's personality. I'm going to play the song in full with a lyric video for those who I'm sure would love to sing along.
Belong Internet presents a love song.
Don't recall when I first turned you on, but I know we connected. Yeah, sometimes folks might treat you wrong and you're feeling rejected. Got a history I'll never wipe, so I wrote a song to set things right. 'Cause I'm grateful to belong in your wide world of unlimited da-da-da. You fill me up with useful facts like octopus don't fight. Before we met I hated cats and I just thought you should know you're my wonderful, whimsical, weirdly irresistible wormhole. Watching 6 hours of old Oscar speeches, finding a site that sells medical leeches, chatting on a forum about stuff that tastes like blue, learning how to turn spinach into pasta, shooting aliens with some kid in Alaska, reading how the air gets clean with whale poo. In your unlimited da-da-da, you fill my phone with apps and memes. Now I Espanol habla. I never knew that goats could sing, and I just thought you should know you're my wonderful, whimsical, weirdly irresistible. And if everyone switched ISPs, the folks who paid for me to sing could help tackle this climate thing, so I can stay in love with my wormhole.
Yeah, it feels good to belong. Carbon neutral internet.
You're my wormhole.
And that, Lucy, is my whirlwind tour of innovative and hopefully inspirational audio and radio creative.
Well, thanks, Ralph. So a couple of observations from me, and they really are just observations. I love the Barilla idea. It's so clever, but I can't help wondering whether or not it would have been more famous if they'd actually used some advertising to get people to hear about it. You know, maybe some radio advertising. People do cook and listen to the radio at the same time, but also with the penetration of smart speakers, the two would have worked really well together. So maybe I'll take it up with the brand itself. Maybe I'll call the marketing director. But also, I love the song. Particularly, I love a song in advertising, and I really love the Belong song. It's so clever, it's so on brand, it's so catchy. And you know, one of the lines talks about going down an internet wormhole, and it's definitely what we call an earworm here at Radiocentre. You know, da da da. Anyways, I won't sing, but I love it. So my sort of question is it still running? And also, have you hit the charts yet?
Yeah, it's still running. In fact, some of the stations have received requests to play the song again in full, which is weird. And look, Lucy, I don't want to jinx it, but we are hoping for a Christmas #1 here. Yeah.
So, Ralph, good luck with that. You can't see the audience here in the room, but I can, and I can confirm that they were all shazamming like crazy. So, you know, you never know, you might realise your dream here in the UK and have that #1 Christmas hit. But anyways, I've kept you up long enough. So thanks so much, and we want to wish you all the best from here in London, and for those watching all around the UK, and go back to bed.
Yeah, not at all. No, and yes, I will head to bed straight away. Thank you, everybody, and hopefully I see you all in person maybe next year. Cheers.